Hello, people. Andrew here, talking about comics from a reader, collector, speculator, investor point of view, without order of importance to myself. Today, looking at a 2012-2013 Dark Horse series called 47 Ronin, written by Mike Richardson, and illustrated by Stan Sakai. What's it about? Well, it's a telling of a Japanese story, a historical story that was from 1701 to 1703. In Japan, the story is known as Chushin Guru, which sort of translates to the treasury of lost retainers. Often be said about this story is to know this story is to know Japan. So, what is it about? I don't want to get into too many of the details of the story because I think it's a really good read. The story itself, even if you don't read it here, just to read the story or see it in film or whatever, and it's good to see it fresh with fresh eyes without knowing too much about it. But basically, it's loyalty, betrayal, deceit, courage, bravery, endurance. All of these factors go into the story. The master of a house is called out to visit the shogun. Things happen and spiral in a bad way, and he's forced to commit seppuku. And in somewhat dishonor, and by leaving this world in dishonor, he dishonors his whole family and the clan, and they're dissolved. Well, part of his family or his clan includes a number of samurai, and a number of these samurai say, no, this is not justice. He was railroaded into this situation. This is not good. We want to redeem his name and his honor and our honor. We will bring vengeance. We will strike down the villain that caused all of this. And so a plan is put into motion, and the 47 Ronin go about trying to execute this plan to regain their master's honor and their honor as well. That's it in a nutshell. I probably already gave away too much, but it's a good story. It's a good telling, and as I say, it's been adapted into song and opera, plays, film, TV. There's written transcripts of it. The telling is fairly similar, but details may change from here to there because they don't have 100% accurate details on exactly how noble the master of the house was or how evil the villain was. Some of that is artistic liberty to bring that to bear. But overall, you get the gist, and most of the stories follow this particular storyline. So this is great. If you've never read this story, this is a good way to read the story, and especially if you like comic books as well, it's a good way to read the story. Very, very good story, and I enjoyed it, and I do recommend it. Now, I'm going to mention something about the artist, Stan Sakai, who you may know from all of his work on Usagi Yojimbo. And when I first found out about Usagi Yojimbo, I sort of cast it aside. I said, okay, so we're doing anthropomorphized creatures here. We got like a rabbit, a rhino, and I think that's a puma or a lion. It's sort of like an animated type of style, almost Bugs Bunny-ish type of thing. So, like, am I really interested in this? But I managed to pick up a whole whack of these when I bought the white collection. Which I can reference in a video I did called the Sixth Gun. I think I mistakenly called it the Seventh Gun in one of my other videos, but it's the Sixth Gun, and I talk about the White Collection. And in that collection was all of this Usagi Yojimbo stuff, which originally I was just going to sell off because I said I don't think I'd be interested in that. But I like to read everything that I pick up, so I decided to sit down and start reading it. And I love the series. I think it's great. I don't know. I'm glad that I didn't just blindly get rid of it because it's a great series, and I'm looking forward to rereading the whole thing. I've got like over 200 books now in the Usagi Yojimbo collection. So, but as I say, even when I was looking at this and I'm saying, okay, 47 Ronin is not Usagi Yojimbo. It does it adapt with it. I mean, he's got like an animated style. But even so, even if it's a simple style, I refer back to a couple of other artists like Darwin Cook and Bruce Timm. They have what appears to be a simple style, a simpler line in their illustrations, but there's depth and interest in everything that they draw. And it's the same thing here with Stan Sakai. He has good movement for his characters, good action scenes, a good composition. There's expressions on the characters' faces, and in simple lines, he can convey a great deal of emotion. And as far as detail is concerned, he's fairly accurate when he looks at Japan and studies some of the Japanese history, and through photos, through illustrations, he tries to capture the actual Japanese feel of the time period. So in this case, it's 1701, and he uses as much reference as he can to come up with some of the illustrations. As an example, I mean, look at this. Look at this temple. Okay, so sure. He has a simpler style to his artwork, but he has a great deal of detail when it needs to be. And he even went on to say, with regards to this particular series, that when some of the details were missing, he would fill it in with some of his knowledge as best that he could. But he tried to keep certain things like family crests and what have you, and some of the wardrobe costuming as accurate as he could, based on the illustrations. When asked about changing the look, I mean, he was doing rabbits and rhinos, and now he had to do a whole bunch of people. There's no rabbits around. These are all about people. It's a story with people. He used Japanese prints as his inspiration from the time and reflecting the time to illustrate the people, so they have some of that look that you would see in a Japanese print. So I'm already a fan of his artwork, because it didn't take much to read his stuff and see that it's far more involved and in depth than it would first appear. So I really like his artwork, and I think it works just perfectly with this story, and I do like the telling of this story, so I definitely recommend this story. 5 issues long. So what about for a collector? Well, Stan Sakai is probably the main thing. When I bought the White collection, it had all that Usagi Yojimbo. I'm pretty sure that the reason that Stephen White, who had previously owned the collection, that he bought this because of Stan Sakai. He's got all kinds of Stan Sakai in that collection, and this would have just been continue on with that. But you might want to get it just for collecting as much Dark Horse material as you can. Or if you're just interested in Japanese history, or Japanese history with a little bit of folklore thrown into it. So there's reasons to collect it. As far as speculation and investment, I would have to say no on this, although it's not a dollar bin book. You won't. I doubt very much that you will find this maybe a beaten copy, perhaps, but it wouldn't have had a huge print run. And you can go on market and take a look, and you can get individual issues for about $5 a piece. It has been collected in a trade paperback twice. I think it's 2014 and 2021. So you can just read it in that respect, or as I say, you can try and find these books in your store. They're not as easy to find because, as I say, there wasn't a big print run. And when you go into a store and you take a look at their back issue bins, unless they have like a bin that says Dark Horse miscellaneous material, or just miscellaneous material starting at the numbers, and it would be 47 Ronin. That's how you would probably find it. You might find it if somebody has a big Usagi Yojimbo collection and includes all of the sort of stuff that Stan Sakai did, including stuff from Critters and Albino, and then they might throw in the 47 Ronin there. But it's not going to be necessarily that easy to find, but it's not going to be that expensive. So overall, yeah, I recommend this story. I think it's a great story. I think if you've never read 47 Ronin, you should read a tale of, if you're interested in Japanese, history and folklore, and the whole idea that, to know this story is to know Japan, and you're interested in that, you should read a version of 47 Ronin. And if you're a comic book reader, this is a perfect place for you. So, yeah, I'm gonna recommend it. Now, I'm also going to mention that there was a film in 2013? Yeah, 2013. There was a film called 47 Ronin, featuring Keanu Reeves. That movie uses this story as a template, but it's not the same story. I mean, Keanu Reeves is not Japanese, and this is all about Japanese people in 1701. The film, from what I understand, I haven't seen the film, but from what I understand, has a degree of mysticism in it and witchcraft and some of the supernatural elements, which is not part of what this story is. It's, grounded, very grounded story. I'm not going to say whether the 47 Ronin was good or not, but I'm just saying that it's a different story than the one that's presented here in this comic book. Overall, yep, pick it up if you can. Read it. Read the trade paperback. Whatever works for you. It was a good story, well worth a read, worth reading again, over time, and not that expensive. So that's it. Uh, be good to yourself. Be good to others. And we'll talk again soon.